Alright, so in this video we are going to take the multiplication one step further. And in this video we're going to multiply a binomial times a binomial. So that means we're taking one expression that's two terms, and we're going to multiply it times another expression that's two terms. So we're asked to simplify the quantity x plus 3 times x plus 2. So what we want to do is we want to distribute each of the pieces in the first expression to each of the pieces in the second. So what I need to do is I'm going to take this x that's in the first slot and I'm going to multiply it through each of the two pieces that are in the second binomial. So I'm going to do x times x, which is going to give me x squared, and I'm going to do x times 2, which is going to give me 2x. Now it is important to pay attention to that sign. It was a plus sign, so that's why we ended up with a positive 2x. And with that, I'm halfway through the problem. That is only one term of our binomial at the beginning. So now what we need to do is we need to take that second piece of the binomial and we need to distribute that to each of the pieces. So we're going to take the 3 now. And again, you want to pay attention to that sign. It's a positive, so we're doing a positive 3. And we're going to multiply that positive 3 times each of the pieces in the second piece, just like we did with that x. So I'm going to multiply a positive 3 times x, and that's going to give me 3x. I'm going to multiply a positive 3 times a positive 2, which is going to give me a positive 6. So as I mentioned in the last video, before you go ahead and circle your answer as complete and done, you want to make sure that you have combined any like terms. So if you look at this problem, I actually have a 2x and I have a 3x. Those both have the same variable and the same exponent. So we need to go ahead and combine those, just like we did when we were combining like terms in our addition video. So I'm going to keep the x squared because it doesn't have anything that it's going to match up with. And then I'm going to combine the 2x and the 3x, which is going to give me 5x. And again, my 6 doesn't have a like term, so it's going to stay a plus 6. So that is going to be my answer. X squared plus 5x plus 6. So just a couple things. You might see this called the FOIL method. And we have this little graphic here below the example that kind of summarizes the FOIL method. And it's just kind of a memory trick to help you remember how to multiply a binomial times a binomial. FOIL is going to stand for first, outer, inner, last. So if you look back at the problem that we just solved, we multiplied the first term in the first binomial times the first term in the second binomial, and we got the x squared. We then multiplied the outer numbers, the two numbers on the outside, the x and the 2, and we got 2x. I is going to stand for inner. You're going to multiply the two inside terms, 3 and x, and that's going to give us the 3x that we got here. And then the last term, so the last pieces of each one. So the 3 times the 2. That's just another memory technique to help you out with this. But one thing to be paying attention to, this only works if it's a binomial times a binomial. So both pieces have to have two terms. Otherwise, the FOIL method doesn't completely follow through. You're going to miss out on some steps. So the way that we explained it from the beginning is that you are basically just distributing that first binomial to each of the pieces. And we're going to continue that pattern when we expand to be multiplying things that have more than two terms. But you will see in a lot of textbooks the FOIL method mentioned. So we did want to make sure that you guys were familiar with what people were talking about when they mentioned that. All it means is you're going to multiply the pieces out and distribute each of the pieces in the first one times each of the pieces in the second. Finally, it's just important to remember you do need to multiply both pieces through. One of the common mistakes we see every year is somebody will just multiply the first number in each one together and say like they do x times x and they get x squared. Or they would multiply and then they would multiply 3 times 2 and just get 6 and they'd say their answer was x squared plus 6. Do not make that mistake. Make sure that each of the pieces in the first one get multiplied by each of the pieces in the second one and you'll be in good shape. Alright, you have some U-Try problems. Go ahead and give those a try on your own. When you're done, check your answers, ask any questions that you have, and then you can move on to the next video. See you there.